Let's take you now to Washington, D.C., where Bassam BARABANDI is waiting for us, former Syrian diplomat and co-founder of People Demand Change. Mr. BARABANDI, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
There are a number of developments that I'd like your thoughts on. I mean, first of all, the situation as we're seeing it, as we are understanding it, in Duma, the last rebel group apparently out now, and Duma back in the hands of the regime, or rather the Russian troops who are there.
Yeah, actually, this is the amazing thing, that after the regime used the chemical weapons, the Russian military forces, they went directly to the areas, they clean it, they clear it, and then they allow the regime to come in after evacuating the people. And now they are asking the international community to come and check what's going on. It doesn't make any sense. These steps should be done from the first minute of the attack happens, to show the international community that they have nothing to hide. Whereas after waiting 1 week almost to say, now we are ready, you can come, you are most welcome, and they put something with the UN National Security Council draft. They want the international community to endorse their act, and luckily it was voted by the UK and US. So this is where the Russians are just trying to bluffing the world. They try to send all the fake news. Unfortunately, they miss big opportunity to show the world that they are a serious country. They are respecting being at the Security Council of the UN, and show their commitment to peace and security of the world, but they didn't.
And when you say they go in and they clean up, it's impossible to obviously eradicate all traces of a chemical weapons attack. I imagine that is something that is just not physically possible. But clearly you're saying They're looking to take away certain evidence that might give them away.
Exactly. I mean, the YouTube that the Ministry of Defense, Russian Ministry of Defense, they published it or aired it 2 days before. They showed that their military police, they entered the city, they entered the buildings, they find no one, they didn't find any casualties, they find no one to ask for, and they make all this as fake news, which is not. They cannot be the person or the group or the countries that decide when to come and what the results. Even their draft of the UN Security Council, it says that even the committee or the commission, investigation committee that they go to Duma, they have no right to publish their reports. They have to come back to Security Council to discuss it, and if they agree on it, they will publish it. So they try to control all the process from A to Z. I think today things has changed. The administration has changed its mind. France is taking big lead on that issue, on the chemical weapons, stopping the mass killing of the Syrian people. And I hope we will reach to somewhere good, much better than a week ago.
In terms of what is happening on the ground, obviously the rebels, civilians, whoever was left in Dumas have been bussed out. And they've gone to a fate that we know is uncertain. In terms of what happens now, what happens next, and the expectations that Syrians had back in 2011 when they were demanding change, it's been a terrible, tragic waste, hasn't it?
Yes, unfortunately, all this authoritarian regime, they are very rigid. They don't see that they have a people, they have equal rights. They see them in power, and they try to manipulate anything as either in their favor or someone is disturbing their power. So they didn't expect that the Syrian will go to the street to ask for dignity or for equality or for transparency. And the reaction that they did, everybody knows now after 7 years. They just killed 500,000 Syrian, 12 million people, they are IDPs or refugees. Third or more than third of Syria has been destroyed just in order not to make reforms. And now the people, some people, they blame the people. Some countries, some intellectuals, if we can call them, some media, they blame the Syrian people that why did you go to the streets? Why did you do this? It's really sad way of doing things, sad way of thinking about it. But that doesn't change anything. Assad cannot stay. He's very weak. He's very weak than last week or 1 month ago or 1 year ago.
But the likelihood is he will stay, isn't it?
Syria.
The likelihood is, though, he will stay.
If we want to go into deep details about what's going on in Syria now, the regime army is very weak. They don't have numbers. They don't have manpower. That's why we have maybe 80,000 Iranian or pro-Iranian militia in Syria. That's why we have the Russian Air Force in Syria. They are gaining the ground. They are winning. They are the winners. They want to shape the Middle East in the way that fit their own agenda. Assad is just puppet. At a certain time, they can say goodbye for him because he's irrelevant. We cannot say he wins. When you see that what kind of contracts, economic contracts, that Iran and Russia did with Syria in the last 6-7 months, literally they took everything, everything. The water, the gas, the electricity, the agriculture, the infrastructures. They put their hands hold on everything. And now they are, the Iranians, they are getting their own people in Syria, and they are gaining the lands. They are buying the lands or confiscating the lands of the Syrian who left. So I cannot see Bashar or the regime has won, rather than they are just another loser. All the Syrian lost because of this way of dealing with the crisis, of this rigid way. And I don't see except Russia and Iran #1 is benefiting from all that scenario.
Bassam BARABANDI in Washington, former Syrian diplomat, co-founder of People Demand Change. Thank you, sir, very much indeed for giving us that assessment